how this kind of works is that I have to kind of bring my vibrational level up, which, you know, I don't even know how I do it, but I just kind of do it, right? So it's kind of weird. And then stuff just starts coming in. So there's 3 different, do you know about the clairs, the 3 clairs? Clairvoyant, clairsentient, and clairvoyant, clairsentient, and clairaudient. Okay. So I'm a mixture of the 3, right? Nice. And you can be one of those, or 2 of those, or 3 of those. My 2 biggies are clairvoyancy and clairsentience. So what that means is clairvoyance is like knowing. So sometimes I equate it to like, I've never heard what I'm going to say until it's actually coming out of my mouth. It's almost like they talk with you, and half the time I don't remember what I said when I'm done. That's why I watch it on here.
Interesting. That's cool.
And I'm like, that's really weird, and I don't even know where it comes from. That's so cool. I had a reading with someone a couple weeks ago, and her husband came through, and I said, he's like, he's around you like a shadow. I don't even remember saying it. I don't remember saying it all, but she said that he was always like that. He was always around me. I used to say, like, you're like a shadow. You're like around me all the time. So some of the stuff, I don't know where it comes from. Wow. Clairsentient means I feel things. So I might feel sadness. I might feel happiness. I might feel like somebody died of a heart attack, and I can feel something like here, or I can feel like difficulty breathing. So you feel things. And clairaudience is you hear. So I don't always hear. I have on occasion heard somebody say something, like, I just heard this. That's not a big thing for me. The only thing I can tell you is I know when they're here. Because in my ear, I hear when the energy vibration is here. And they talk, because the vibration is so different where they are, that half the time you can't really understand. So I have to like either bring myself up, or they've got to slow themselves down. So in hearing, like, see, I can already see I'm getting like goosebumps and stuff. I know they're coming in and close. So when I thought about you guys earlier today, I was thinking like, please, I wonder what's going to happen. And sometimes just that, sending that intent, starts to have things start to come in. So the thing that I always tell people is, think about, I want you to set the intention yourself. If you have someone that you want to come through, it's never guaranteed they're going to come through. You just don't know. I mean, you just don't know. They come through if they want to come through, and if they don't, they don't. Right. If they were private in real life, like quiet and private, they're still going to be private and quiet. Right. They might come through and give us a sign, but that doesn't mean they're all of a sudden going to become a chatty Cathy and start telling you. Right, of course. But if they were the life of the party, oftentimes they're going to come through and kind of beat everybody out, because they see like a beacon that, oh, there's someone there that can talk to us, and they know you're here. So set an intention for that. If there's someone you want to know how they're doing, you know, set an intention for that. Also remember to breathe. So breath flows, spirit flows on breath, right? So that's why you'll see me sometimes just sit here and kind of breathe, and it's not I mean, sometimes I have to wait for them to kind of come and give me the messages that they're giving. So it's not like you see on TV where they just don't shut up and they keep going. Sometimes you just have to kind of wait for it. And sometimes in my head, I'm asking questions and I'm getting it back. So if you hear me talking to them, I'm not talking to a wired mic or anything. I'm like, I'm really just like, you know, I'm saying sometimes. Sometimes I can also see things the way they present themselves. So I can tell, like, if it's a grandmother or a great-grandmother based on how they present themselves to me, or how they look. So if they're in full color, they're more recent. If they're black and white, they died probably a lot longer ago. If they're sepia tone, they're like a long, long time ago. And I see things that way too. So it's all symbolism, and I get different things. So let me just kind of like take a deep breath here, and then we'll get going. So I feel like there was a bunch of people coming through as I was sitting here kind of getting ready for this whole session. But the one that was been coming to me all afternoon is a woman. She's a woman. I feel like she's grandmotherly, but I don't know that she's your grandmother, if that makes sense. I feel like she would have been, because she's kind of black and white. So that means to me that she's further along than just like close, right? So I feel like she's quite elderly. I asked her how she'd passed. She said she passed in a nursing home. Now, I don't know if that would mean anything to you. So there's a woman, she passed in a nursing home. She's fairly elderly. And I'm seeing that I'm seeing cooking. So I'm seeing like corn on the cob, omelets, that kind of thing. It's almost like I made the best omelets, is what she's sort of saying to me. I made these really good omelets, and she's talking to me about that. But she did spend some time in a nursing home. I'm leaning towards your mother's side.
Okay.
But I'm not positive. I think that's where she is. Whoever this person is, she wants me to acknowledge that when she was alive, when she was here, she used to love lobster dinners. I'm seeing her like at the ocean, going up to the beach or wherever she was, and she would have a big plate of lobster, or a lobster. Who's the boy? Is there a boy that died? When I say boy, I mean like young guy. I don't mean like little boy. I mean like a young guy. Can you think of anybody? Now, it may not be family. It could be a friend. It could be somebody from high school. But I'm seeing a young man coming through.
I was thinking of somebody today that I went to high school with. I wasn't really close with him, but he committed suicide.
All right, don't tell me too much, because I want to see. There is a guy coming through.
Okay.
And I don't always get the image exactly as they look, but I'm seeing a young guy, dark hair, coming through.
It's weird, that's who I was thinking of today.
Because he was sometimes it's the intention, right?
Yeah.
So I'm asking how he passed. She's going to tell me. Do you know how he passed?
I believe it was suicide, yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean, don't tell me, but do you know how? Like, if you told me, would you be able to verify it? Okay, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm a little confused because I'm seeing two different things and I'm not sure what they mean. My first thought was that he hung himself, but I'm not sure because I keep seeing a car. Did he hang himself? Okay, that's what was coming to me.
Wow.
But I keep seeing a car, and I'm not sure what the connection with the car is. Who's the A name? Is there an A name?
Not that I can think of.
Last name, first name, nothing like that. And a month, I'm getting January. It could be a birthday, anniversary day, death day. None of those ring a bell.
My daughter's Aria. She was born in January. Not that she's alive.
No. Okay. But it doesn't always mean that. Sometimes they're acknowledging people in this life that they want to connect with. So, and I'm not even sure who's connecting which one. I was thinking it was him. Maybe it's her. Hang on a minute. Did this grandmother that passed, or great-grandmother, I think, really is where I think we're heading with that, but do you know if she ever lost a child? I feel like she's with a child. There's a child there, like a little child.
Interesting.
But I don't know if it's hers or someone else in the family, but I feel like she's with a child.
I don't know. What do you think?
I have no idea.
I know Auntie Julie and Uncle Mike lost a little baby.
Are they connected?
It's so this is my dad's side. My Auntie Julie and Uncle Mike who lost their infant. That was on my dad's side.
And this little person looks like they're about 2 or 3. But again, they can show themselves anyway. So let's just hold on to that for a minute. So I'm seeing something, and I believe it's related to her, about a high school graduation. So either she wanted to be there and couldn't, or she's acknowledging that she saw it, and I don't know what that connection is. Does that mean anything to you? Okay. But I don't even know if it's one or the other. I don't know. But I'm seeing the high school graduate happen.
That means something.
All right. Just hang on to that. I'm also getting the feeling that she was pretty sick, but she didn't, for a while. I feel like for a while, she didn't know she was as sick as she was. You know, like she was sick and it was probably a lot worse than she gave her credit for, and nobody really expected this, and all of a sudden it just kind of went boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
That's the sense that she's giving to me. Is her husband passed?
No.
Because she's not with him. And that's why I was wondering if there was a connection. Her husband is still alive, right? Because she's alone. When I say she's alone, she's not with him. She's not with a man, right? So I didn't know if she was divorced or what the connection was. The friend, he's still over here. He says, I'm still here. When this woman passed, great-grandmother, did she have something going on in her chest with her heart or something? I'm feeling something in here, but I'm not sure where it is.
Do you want me to tell you, or should I?
You can just acknowledge whether there was something in her chest or not. And I'm feeling something in here, but I'm not even sure what it is. It's like right here.
Okay.
So you can acknowledge yes or no, or maybe, or I don't know. Try not to tell me too much, and then we can talk about it after. Because if you tell me, then it gets in my head, and I can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes your conscious brain wants to fill in the pieces, and I don't want to fill in the pieces.
So I'll just say it's in that area.
Okay.
Kind of?
All right.
Is that good?
Yeah, I just feel something right here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm seeing something related to liver too. So I don't know if she was having a general system like failure, but I'm seeing liver as well. Was she kind of, well, again, you were young, so I don't know if you know this, but I'm getting the feeling like when she was in a nursing home, she didn't entirely hate it. Like I feel like she was kind of, I don't know, like social. You know what I mean? She was social with people in there. I'm also feeling that when she passed, there were people there, but there was at least one who wanted to be that wasn't. And she's acknowledging that that's okay, because she said that when she passed, she didn't pass alone. She moved on, and there was like a ton of people there waiting for her, so she didn't necessarily feel like that was a problem at all. This kid from school over there. Do you know much about him?
No.
Weird. Because he's kind of quiet. But,
yes. Yep.
But I'm seeing golf, and I feel like that may have been something that he enjoyed or something. I don't know. What else here? I feel like there's also a blanket, an Afghan, something she crocheted, something like that that somebody has that she's acknowledging as well. Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
That she's acknowledging as well that someone has. And I don't know. Did she crochet, that kind of thing, knit, anything like that? So I feel it, because what I'm feeling is that there's multiple things out there that people have, not just one thing, but I was seeing an Afghan.
Okay.
And I'm also feeling like if she were here, there's no way she would be here. Like she would never be caught dead doing this.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Which is sort of ironic.
Right.
Considering the circumstances.
Right.
But here she is, you know. It's kind of funny. I think when they cross over, they the whole impression is different because there's no loss of consciousness and everything just kind of goes on. She visits. Her husband is widowed from her, right?
Correct.
She visits him, and I'm trying to think. It's kind of going to sound silly, but I see her being there with him when he's doing just sort of like mundane things, like putting his toast in the toaster. You know, she's just kind of like there. And I don't know if he hears like music or something in the like every once in a while, like, oh, you know, that reminds me of her, and it is her. There's something to do with music.
Okay.
And sometimes they'll do that. They'll give a scent. They'll give a, you know, something like that. I feel like most of this message from her is for him. I mean, not that it's not for you, but I feel like
that's great.
But I feel like it. I mean, I feel like she's giving me things that you would know to identify her, but that he would understand.
Yeah.
The sense that I'm getting, this comes to that sentience thing. I'm feeling kind of like loneliness, sadness, and I think that's coming from him. And what she's saying is that he's really not, because she can always, and you can see I'm getting goosebumps now. She's like, she's coming through, and that's how I feel that she's actually like in the realm. She's with him. I mean, she spends time with him. She sits with him. She watches him. She sees what he's doing. And I can see him like kind of shuffling across the floor. The slippers over there, make his toast. And she's just like hanging out.
I love that.
And sometimes he will hear things, or, you know, things will jar his memory. Like, oh, that reminds me of her. Or, this reminds me of her. And it's her kind of manipulating things. There's a man coming through. It's a grandfather image. You have a grandfather that passed? Again, it could be great-grandfather, but because you're so young, I'm trying to like figure out where he is just by looking at him. Would he have passed, not real young, but not real old? I'm seeing him as like younger. Did you know him well?
Nope.
Okay, all right. Because it's like sitting there having a beer, and I didn't know if you could acknowledge that or not.
Yeah.
Okay, you do. That would mean something to you? Okay,
Yes,
all right. Just sat down with a beer.
Holy crap.
Wait, hang on a minute. see if I can place him. Is he on your dad's side?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He's showing me off to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad's, yeah. Was there not a great relationship with your dad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because he's telling me, he said that there wasn't a great relationship there, but it's so different when you move over. Like, he said, he said, I was not always the nicest person, but I see what I did, and I see how I acted, and I see how I behaved. And he wishes that he could have made it up in life. We don't carry things into the next life. We drop them at the door. As soon as you cross over, we drop them at the door. This man, he drank a lot, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm feeling like that contributed to his passing, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And that could be maybe why I was seeing the liver before.
Oh.
I think it might have been him coming in. I'm still feeling stuff in here, but I'm feeling like anxiety. I'm feeling lots of like nervousness, and I don't know what that is. Would he have made others feel like that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, because maybe that's where it's coming from, because I feel like I'm just, you know, that kind of thing, like nervous kind of thing. He had, when I say lost his wife, I don't mean lost her to death. I mean lost her in this life, right? Like because the relationship broke apart, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So he's giving me, I'm trying to get a sense of his personality. I'm seeing him as rough around the edges, cantankerous, like kind of like not warm and fuzzy, just kind of like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain that. I can see him just kind of like, I almost feel like he drank himself to death. Oh, it's so sad. Oh my God, it just feels like, oh, this is part of that whole feeling. You kind of get like the emotions, they give you the emotions and everything. I'm feeling like, and I know this does not sound typical of him based on everything that we've talked about, but the sense I'm getting is he just wants to hug everybody and say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's that kind of a thing. I feel like he's just kind of like wrapped around us here, just, you know, just, but only because he's there.
Right.
You know, only because he can see it. You know, you become aware of everything when you cross. I'm also getting the sense that from him that it took him a while to cross over, that he didn't immediately just go, that he was sort of just afraid to go, because he was afraid of what might be at the end of that tunnel, what kind of judgment would stand. But he did. He's crossed. He's in the other place. But he lives, well, he forever will hold that until maybe when, you know, everybody else crosses and realizes where he's at now, that things might change, but he carries that with him all the time. It's so awful. Does he have a sister?
Yes.
Because he's acknowledging a sister. And I almost feel like she was fed up with him too. It's the sense that I'm getting. It was like, she tried to help him, like there's no help for you. You know, like she was there. Does your father go fishing? Anybody go fishing in the family?
We used to when we were little.
I'm seeing a reference to fishing.
Could it be anybody?
Well, I think it's connected to him.
Okay.
And I feel like the sense that I was getting was, you know, if you go fishing, I'll be with you. That kind of a thing. Like I'm going to just hang out with you because I couldn't do it then, but I'm going to do it now. And maybe it's, you know, it's sort of the sense that I'm getting. Maybe it doesn't necessarily mean fishing per se, but just, you know, doing some of the things that he should have done years ago.
Okay.
You know, maybe that's something that, you know.
Well, it's kind of funny because my dad literally just talked about taking Vanessa fishing.
Really?
Wow.
Well, that might be the connection then.
Interesting.
You know? And he'll be there. I absolutely think that's what it is because I think he's making up for, you know, when you have a little boy, they want to do things like that. They want to go fishing, and I don't feel like he was ever really the father he should have been. And that's I think that was his connection, was when you go fishing, I will be with you.
Interesting.
Oh, I can literally feel that anxiety up and down my arms. Yeah, it's crazy how it affects you when you get into that mode. So, you know, I think we should maybe take a minute just to kind of talk about, you know, I know there's some things that hit, some things that didn't.
Yeah,
and sometimes those things that didn't, you might find out later there was something.
Right,
you know
I definitely
what I mean?
have some questions.
Because I hate to make something out of it that isn't. That's where the head comes in, right? So like that little boy that I was saying, like I was saying, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. I don't necessarily want to do that.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows what it is? It could be anything. So, would you care to share anything about what we discussed that hit that you can?
The biggest thing for me when you said about the high school graduation that my grandmother was there.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I made everybody cry when I told them this story. The night before my graduation, I was kind of thinking, oh, you know, I wish my grandmother were here and such a big day, you know.
Yeah.
I went to bed that night and I dream of her often. I do have dreams about her often. And my dream was that we had a white arch at graduation. And you walk under the arch and she was on the other side waiting for me, clapping, and she hugged me and everything. The next day I go to graduation, little white arch was there.
No
exactly in my, like the same thing in my dream. So weird. So when you said that, I was like, she was totally there. You know?
Yeah, I believe that. They send messages.
Right?
That's kind of
so when you said that,
was
I
your
was
grandmother
like,
or great
grandmother, yeah.
Everything with my dad's dad was like 100% spot on.
So crazy. And I did not, like when I was thinking about
that was not the person I
for my
expected
grandmother.
to come
Did not expect him. Then the kid in school, I was literally driving in my car today. I was like, oh, I was just thinking about him.
See,
you know what I mean? And he just popped in to say hi, basically.
Maybe that's why, because he definitely thought of you.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought of him.
I did. I thought of him.
See, it's stuff like that that's so weird.
Right?
And then all of a sudden he comes through.
But everything with my dad's dad, oh my god.
That was crazy. That was so crazy.
That was like 100% everything.
I feel like I was channeling all of that at that moment.
Yeah.
I can feel the difference when someone's just kind of there and I'm getting images, or when I start feeling the emotions and everything that goes along with it. It gets like really...
And I was just saying to some people today, I was like, knock on wood, I was never close to anybody really that has passed on, so I was really didn't know what to expect with this. I'm like, maybe nobody will come through. I'm just curious, you know? So I was really surprised.
I think your dad's dad had a real message to send. I really do.
It sounds like it.
And, you know, I don't know anything about your family, so you know,
there's no way you could have known any of that.
No, and to have him come down and sit there and have a beer, I mean, like, that's just
that was
the
like,
weirdest thing.
As soon as you said that, I was like,
oh shit.
It's him.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was him.
Right? Oh my god.
And for him to acknowledge like all that, that was 100% him.
Right? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What a gift.